Hi there and welcome to Under the Brolly, the MyUmbrella podcast aiming to educate and inform the wider community about the lesser known LGBT+ sexualities, genders, identities, kinks and fetishes.
MyUmbrella is a volunteer-led support group based in Reading, Berkshire for the lesser known LGBT+ identities.
We were launched by Reading Pride in 2015 and our aim is to educate, support and socialise. We also aim to signpost those who require the support and advice from other organisations to the relevant services.
This podcast aims to give you an introduction to both the well-known and lesser-known LGBT+ identities.
My name is Steve.
And my name's Tom.
And this month, as Pride season continues to deliver some amazing events in some fantastic locations, we wanted to use this month's podcast to provide all our listeners with an overview of gender and the spectrums that contribute to what makes up gender and sexuality, in the form of the MyUmbrella interpretation of the Genderbread Person.
What follows are 5 different spectrums which are mapped out in our MyUmbrella Genderbread Person, reflecting the different factors which contribute to a person's gender and or sexuality.
For those of you who wish to get a copy of the MyUmbrella interpretation of the Genderbread Person, this can be found on page 2 of our guide to LGBT+. Details on how you can get a copy later in the podcast.
It's worth mentioning that no individual may necessarily choose to identify with every spectrum. What follows is purely a guide to help better understand what is meant by gender and or sexuality.
Don't forget that all of these factors contribute to what makes an individual, and only if they are comfortable doing so will they choose to talk openly about their gender and or sexuality with others.
And when dealing with these terms, it's important to remember that gender identity, romantic attraction, sexual attraction, biological sex and gender expression are independent of each other.
Some of these terms can be used in a derogatory way, and care must be taken when speaking to someone about their gender identity and or sexuality.
And it's always best practice to ask the person which terms and pronouns they prefer.
Let's move on to the first spectrum on our Genderbread Person.
So the first spectrum is gender identity, which spans from agender to pangender with gender fluid in the middle. This is how you in your head define your gender based on how much you align or don't align with what you understand to be the options for gender. You can be a mixture of both to varying degrees.
What then follows is romantic attraction. This starts from aromantic and goes to panromantic. Romantic attraction is the feeling of non-sexual attraction to others that is more about who the person is than what they look like. You may develop romantic feelings for someone based on aesthetics, intellect, or personality.
Then we have sexual attraction, which is on a scale from asexual to pansexual, and this is a feeling of arousal or biological response to others, often relating to how a person looks, acts, or behaves.
Next comes biological sex, ranging from female through to male. These are the physical sex characteristics you are born with and develop, including genitalia, body shape, voice pitch, body hair, hormones, chromosomes, and more. People whose sexual characteristics are not either all typically male or all typically female at birth are known as intersex.
And then finally we have gender expression, which is represented on the scale from feminine to masculine with androgynous in the middle. These are the ways that you present gender through your actions, dress and demeanour, and how they are interpreted based on gender norms. Androgynous people have the characteristics or nature of both male and female, or are neither specifically feminine or masculine.
So there it is. There's our interpretation from MyUmbrella of a gender overview as part of the Genderbread Person. If you want to find out more about the MyUmbrella Genderbread Person, alongside a whole host of different and varying LGBT+ identities, genders, sexualities, kinks and fetishes, you can grab hold of the new MyUmbrella Guide to LGBT+, available from our online shop, which is located at www.myumbrella.org.uk/shop.
Here you'll also find lots of lovely merchandise in the form of badges, key rings, bottle openers, magnets and coasters in a huge selection of various flag designs. Even better, we can now offer personalised flags and produce almost any flag that is not currently featured in our listings.
If you fancy being a part of any future shows, then get in touch. Details to follow. Don't worry about people knowing your name or hearing your voice, as we have ways and means to disguise this, and you don't have to use your real name.
And if you want to find out more about MyUmbrella, or even find out where we're going to be next at Prides, feel free to check out our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just type in MyUmbrella into the search bar of any of these and you'll find us.
As always, for those of you who listen regularly, you don't just need to turn up to a Pride where we are at to get involved with the show. We would love to hear from any of you out there who want us to showcase your LGBT+ identity.
Just drop us an email to info@myumbrella.org.uk and put into the subject line under the Brolly and let us know what LGBT+ identity you'd like us to feature. It could be yours or it could be one you've never heard of.
Until then, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.